Good morning, everyone. On today's Level 1 podcast, we've got a lot of news. A lot of news. Sadly, not good. Ladies and gentlemen, Xbox has done it again. They have yet again laid off a bunch of people. This is probably the 5th or 6th mass layoff this year in the gaming industry. And today we're going to dive deep into what's going on, how to handle it. But there's more than just that. It's not all doom and gloom. There's some good news from Nintendo and others. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you for all of this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 7th of May, 2024. I certainly wasn't expecting much when I woke up this morning, and then it was like the gameplay overload, right? Holy crap. And not gameplay overload, gaming news overload, excuse me. See, I'm seriously shell-shocked. I spent a good, half an hour this morning trying to read through articles, get feedback on social media from what people were saying from various different parts of the gaming industry about what's going on right now. Because it was weird overnight. There was some really positive game news. I would say, okay, not necessarily positive, but interesting game news from Nintendo about their new console. And everyone was all abuzz and excited. Oh, yes, this is cool. Finally, we're going to get some new stuff. And then, this morning, waking up to absolutely awful news. It seems like ever since this Activision Blizzard buyout merger took place over at Microsoft, there's been nothing going on that's very good at all at that company. It's just doom and gloom and games failing and people losing their jobs. And it's like, you got to wonder, was it really worth it? We're going to talk about this today, okay? I'm going to give you the skinny on what actually happened. A lot of people didn't even know. So anyway, yes, we're going to talk about that. Some people are saying that the volume is off. Let me just double check that. Yes, the volume did reset. Hold on. I have no idea why. There we go. Is that better? I apologize. For some reason, my mic volume reset. I didn't do that. Thank you for telling me, Drew, in the chat. Let's double check it to make sure it's stuck. Yep. Yeah, there was no reason for the mic volume to be that low. Now it should be like 6 decibels louder. I have no idea. You tell me. I didn't change any settings. I guess OBS decided to F up. I don't know. Okay. So, folks, what we're going to do today is our usual, schedule-wise. We're going to talk a little bit about yesterday, because yesterday I played another Krabs Treasure, which is actually quite good. And then we're going to go into talking about all this game news from today, including these layoffs, which I really, at this point, I can't get it. I just scratching my head and not feeling too good about it. You know, I'm someone who's in the games industry as an independent guy covering it. I'm not in the industry working with these people. But I feel like when these things keep happening over and over, there's really a sickness going on, right? There's like a cancer in gaming, and it's eating away. And this is not good. And I don't understand how no one's doing anything about it. I just don't. Like, how we're just going to ignore it. So we're going to talk about this today, okay? Anyway, today we also have a full day of gaming. Unlike yesterday, where I had to take a half day from streaming in order to do those private Patreon React videos and do some stuff behind the scenes. With the business, I'm good now. And now we're ready. Full fun day of gameplay streaming here today. I certainly hope that you guys are going to tune in for Fallout 4. Because I'm going to be honest, I am nervous about the future of the playthrough. This is a playthrough now we've been doing for roughly 2 weeks. To kind of jump into the Fallout mania that happened after the popularity of the TV show. And I think it was working fine, and all of a sudden that last stream that I did over the weekend had way less engagement and way less support, and I was like, what happened? You know, we were doing well. Everyone seemed to be liking the fact that I was doing a run completely different from previous Fallout runs. 0 charisma or intelligence. Instead, all based on luck and brute force. And I think it's working well. It's a very different style. You know, we didn't even see any of these melee weapons or anything in my previous run. So I hope that, you know, you guys will hang out with me for Fallout 4 today. I want more. I'm excited for more. I've been craving more all week, actually. We haven't played it since, what was it, Saturday? And I'm happy that we're getting back to it. I just hope that maybe Saturday was a one-off, meaning that was a one-off stream where, okay, you know, maybe there just wasn't that much attention on it, or, you know, whatever. I want to chalk it up to that and hope that maybe we can get back on our feet today with the Fallout playthrough. The thing is, if it doesn't really have traction anymore as a day stream, we could turn it into night streams. You know, but I don't even know there how well it would work. Typically, when we play these Bethesda games, it's half and half. Like, sometimes it's a day stream, sometimes it's a night stream. You know, that's how we've approached New Vegas, Skyrim, and then Oblivion. And I guess we'll see how it goes today. Okay, and of course, more Zangief tonight in Street Fighter 6. So we're going to have a full day of gameplay coverage for you guys, and I hope that you will hang out and enjoy it. Yeah, let's talk about yesterday briefly. So yesterday was the first day that I changed the control scheme for Another Krabs Treasure. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I talked about it at length on yesterday's podcast, that basically the game devs had Another Krabs Treasure designed to play like Dark Souls, meaning run as well as dodge is the same button. And because of that, to dodge, it required a button input and release, meaning the dodge is delayed. Okay? What happens then is when you're fighting enemies for the first time or bosses for the first time and you're trying to react to what they're doing, you literally can't. By the time you see their attack coming and you try to dodge on reaction, it'll come out too late. What ends up happening is the game becomes more about memorization than reaction. And in a game like this, I think that reaction is better. I don't want to just sit there and memorize the whole game like I'm studying a textbook and then regurgitating inputs based on what I memorized. I want to react to what I see and have a chance to beat things first try. As it was, I didn't have that chance with the way the game was designed. Guess what? There's an alternate control scheme that fixes that. Run then becomes click in left thumbstick, and then dodge instantly happens by tapping B. Why on earth the game devs didn't make that the default control scheme, I have no idea. Would you not want more reactive controls? I just don't understand that at all. It doesn't make sense. They wanted to copy Dark Souls so bad, they actually made their default control scheme worse. Anyway, the game's much better now. And yesterday, I had the best stream of Another Krabs Treasure I've had so far. Basically, we went through an entire optional area, a hidden secret village that was very tough to get through, and a secret boss at the end. And when you beat him, you then get the ability to break those big glowing cubes that are all throughout the game. And when you break them, you get all kinds of good equipment. So no exaggeration, I went from like 25 to 28 damage to over 50 damage yesterday when it comes to, you know, attack output. And I'm kicking ass now. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool now. I'm so powerful. Plus, I started utilizing the hammer more. I got a new ability, a teleport punch special move that is superbly good. So I'm just having a great time with it. Yesterday was definitely the best stream of the game we had done so far. And I actually can't wait to play it again tomorrow as we continue our deep sea investigation of all these secret cubes throughout the stages and then finally advancing the game. So good stuff there. If you like FromSoft games, if you want to see a unique one and you want to see me really getting into it and enjoying myself, despite the fact I do die, don't get me wrong, I'm dying and making mistakes, and it's not just a walk in the park, this game. It's very challenging. Check out the Another Krabs Treasure playthrough. Now, as I already said, there was no late stream content last night because I was doing private patron videos. Those are now in the bag for the month. So now for the rest of the month, I can actually stay here with all of you and hang out with you and do double streams. That's cool. No massive interruptions like we had last month. Remember, like last month, many weeks I couldn't stream. Well, no, this month, full time, I'm here to hang out with all of you, and I'm very excited for that. Okay, let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week, and then we're going to jump into this game news topic, because I still can't get over it, man. These game news is just, it's absolutely ridiculous at this point. Okay? All right, so hold on one second. There we go. Okay. Schedule-wise, today it's more Fallout 4. Yes, the Melee Idiot Savant build continues. Yes, I'm hoping that we will have a great time together and you guys will stick around and be a part of the fun. And, you know, I hope that the engagement will come back. I don't know what happened on Saturday. We've had a series of streams that were really good for Fallout 4. Everyone was enjoying, talking, having a good time. And like I said, when people seem to be enjoying and having a good time, the support comes with it. And all of a sudden on Saturday, it was like the complete and polar opposite. Like people had lost interest in the game. And I'm like, I don't get it. It's the same game. I'm the same guy. Nothing's changed. So what exactly happened? I've been trying to figure it out. And, you know, I want to give it another chance. I want to chalk it up to maybe just a one-off day, right? I hope today things will go better for Fallout 4 because I've enjoyed having it as a daytime stream in the rotation. I was hoping to get another couple weeks out of the game before the new games hit this month. Okay? And today we're going to do fun stuff. We're in the northeast of the map, and we just arrived at the camp of the ghouls, who have a bunch of missions for us. Then next to us is where we get that the mission for, I forgot his name now. I totally forgot his name, but we have another mission structure there. And then right next to that is Salem, Massachusetts, which has the Museum of Witchcraft and other missions. So there's like a ton of content where we are now in the game. And I'm just focusing on that stuff today, I figure. I said, let's do that. Let's stay in this northeast corner and just go about and see what we can find and maybe get some leveling and have a good time. Plus, we have Nick as our companion now, which is awesome to actually have a really good companion. So I'm excited for today. Hope you'll stick around after the stream for a great Fallout 4 session. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it is more Street Fighter 6 Zangief madness continues as I attempt to get Zangief leveled up and to master rank before the big update coming on May 22nd. Okay? So let's see how it goes tonight. Last time around, it was rough going. I did get Zangief a lot more ranking points, but I lost a ton. And I'm hoping to get better at some of Zangief's toughest matchups so that I'm not losing a whole bunch of those matches. But I guess we'll see. You know, right now he's really not doing well against any of the top tiers. It just seems like he's not designed to do well in that regard. So, yeah. So I hope you'll come back tonight. And should be a good time. What's going on? The allow gifted memberships link isn't working for you. It's probably because those @ references don't work anymore. YouTube broke them. Oh, no, it works for me. I clicked on it and it works for me. I just tried it and it actually worked. So it must be on your end something. Because that I just clicked on it and it literally worked for me and even had the pop-up that said allow gifted membership. So it does work. Okay. If it says the allow gift option isn't available on this channel, it means that you have a branded channel and you cannot get a gifted membership. That's what it means. Okay. Anyway, continuing on here. That's today. Tomorrow, we're gonna do another Krabs treasure stream. Yeah, so that's going to be the day stream tomorrow. Is another Krabs treasure. Tomorrow night, the night stream is completely up in the air. Here's the options that I'm thinking of. Number one, if you want, we can do another Helldivers 2 stream. I'm down for bringing back Helldivers 2 as a late night chill stream of multiplayer. However, last time that I did it last weekend, when I did it as a night stream, it didn't work. People actually were disengaged and talking about other topics. And yeah, support was really bad on that stream. And I said, I hope it's just a one-off. But then it just so happens this week we were very busy with stuff and didn't get a chance to do one. But I could bring it back and give it another shot. Or we could just do a late night chill stream where all we do is just hang out and talk, which I'd be okay with. Just hanging out and talking and having a good time, just, you know, relaxing to end the week. We do these streams about once a month, and they usually do pretty well when it comes to people coming by and hanging out and engaging with the content. And a lot of people said they like the idea of just hanging out with me rather than every stream having to be dedicated to a game or dedicated to a react. Instead, just kind of hanging out and having a good time, shooting the shit, I'm okay with that too. So, let's see what you guys want to do. All right, let me know what you're interested in doing, and we'll figure it out. Basically, by the end of today, I kind of have to figure out what it is that I want to do tomorrow night. Okay, I'm down for whatever. If you have other ideas too of something to do on the late stream, I'm down for that too. It's just that it really is a one standalone stream of just can be anything. The one thing I don't want to do is Street Fighter back to back, because I'm also doing Street Fighter on Friday night. So you don't want to do Street Fighter, right? So that's why I want to kind of break it out. I'm off of streaming on Thursday, all right? And I hope you guys will have a safe and fun one. Maybe get caught up on my content from the week while I'm not here. When I come back on Friday, it's a new game premiere, Little Kitty Big City. It's a game in the same vein as Untitled Goose Game, okay? But it stars a cat in a city. And no, his name is not Jasper Kitty. This is not the cat in the game. But this is my cat, who literally ran in here and jumped on me as I started talking about the kitty game. So, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence, Jasper? Now, Jasper, don't drink my water like yesterday. That was very rude when you licked my seltzer bottle live on stream. I told you, I don't go to your water and start drinking it, right? Now he's kneading my leg. What are you kneading my leg for? Purring. What is going on here? Don't lick my water. How dare you? We almost did it again. Do not lick that water bottle. That is completely unacceptable. Okay. So anyway, yes, Little Kitty Big City will premiere on Friday as the day stream. We're going to give it a look. I don't know if it's a game I'm interested in playing more than once. I want to see what it is. It is a Game Pass game. So we'll give it a look Friday. Friday night will be Friday Night Fights, more Zangief for Street Fighter 6. Saturday will either be another Krabs Treasure or Fallout 4, dependent. And then again, Saturday night, not sure exactly what I want to do. Okay, so we'll see. But that's kind of the week. Next week, we're going to be balanced between another Krabs Treasure, trying out the kitty game, Fallout 4, Street Fighter 6. Those are the definites. And then we'll see what else we want to do around that, okay? Am I going to play Animal Well, a PC indie game published by Video Game Donkeys Publishing Company? I don't know anything about it. Is it coming out anytime soon, or is it out? Because I have an Indies Marathon scheduled for May 25th. So it might be a good time to check it out, as long as it's not like $100, which I doubt it is. Right? There you go. It comes out May 9th. Well, there you go. Why not nominate that game for my upcoming Indies Marathon event? You can nominate games right now by typing !Indies in the chat. And then maybe we could play that game during the Indies Marathon and see what it's all about and see if it's any good. I'd be down for that. Okay. Why does Jasper wear a collar if he doesn't go outside? Number one, because the bell on his collar lets us know where he is, so he doesn't sneak up on us. And number two, because if he accidentally does get outside, it has our information on it. Not to say that he ever should, but I mean, there have been a few times where, he runs into the garage or, the back door's open. Maybe he's going to run. You know what I mean? You never know. So that's why. It's a safety measure. Okay. So that's what's going on schedule-wise. I already just mentioned we have an Indies Marathon coming up. It is a PC-centric Indies Marathon on May 25th. It's a Saturday. All day long, I'll be playing indie games that you guys aren't currently nominating. You can do that right now by typing !Indies into the stream chat. All right? And I hope that you will nominate a variety of games for me, because I don't know what I've been missing in indies recently. I'm not in the know on that. But the more or the most nominated games will get into a final poll in probably about a week's time. Okay, and then after that, you guys will be voting for about a week on what games will actually be played during the marathon. Okay, so please nominate, and thank you for that. Are we ready to talk about this news, man? Because, all right, everyone. I would normally say this is everyone's favorite segment, but being that today we have such downer news, I don't want to say it's everyone's favorite segment at this point. I don't think it's not really the time for jokes. All right, so let's begin with the news that was happening overnight. Okay, first of all, Remedy Entertainment has canceled a game that literally we just found out about. If you remember, it was about a week or two ago. Remedy Entertainment came out and said, hey, here's all the stuff we're currently working on, for the next year or two. And one of these games that they had mentioned was a game called Kestrel. And everyone was like, what the hell's Kestrel? Like, we know Control, and we know Control's getting a sequel and a spinoff. We know, obviously, Alan Wake. Like, we know all that. And then they said, Kestrel. And it's like, what is that? Well, codename Kestrel had a small team working on it. It was an early concept stage of a game that was going to be a premium online cooperative multiplayer game. But what does that mean? What would it play like? Nobody knows, and they already canceled it and said, nah, we're not going to do it. They're just going to focus on single-player content. So I guess that's good. I guess that's what's for the best. If basically they know that their niche is single-player experiences, and they just wanted to dabble in multiplayer, and they tried to work on it, and they were like, nah, that's fine. At least they didn't put an insane amount of effort into it before they canceled it. So that's just a little snippet of game news. No one really knew about it anyway, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Overnight, Nintendo shocked the world. Although I don't find this news shocking at all. All right, I think it's just inevitable that it was going to come out. But, of course, people freak out and act like it's a big deal. So, this is an actual Twitter post from the Nintendo Company Limited official account. Ready? This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware, there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation. So, number one, appreciate the president of Nintendo getting ahead of this. Why? Because so many times, these guys say nothing, right? And they try to keep it under wraps. And what ends up happening is ridiculous, rampant speculation, baseless assumptions. People saying absolutely ridiculous things like, oh, there's a Nintendo Direct coming up, and so you know they're going to talk about the Switch too, right? Which is ridiculous. That because no one ever has any information about that, but they always just make it up to try to have clickbait news and stuff. I almost feel like this is the president of Nintendo, Furukawa, literally saying, I don't want drama around this nonsense. I'm going to just announce this ahead of time so that way no one can make stuff up, which is a good approach in my opinion. Transparency is appreciated. So the two things you learn here, number one, they're making a new Switch. We already knew that. Right now, is it going to be called the Switch? Probably not. But we already knew they're going to make a new console. I mean, the real announcement would have been, oh, we've decided to get out of the console business. We're like, what? Nintendo is like done? No. We knew they were going to make another console, right? I mean, Switch is one of their most profitable consoles of all time. Why in the holy heck would they not make another one, right? The real news here is that they're going to talk about it in the next fiscal year. So that means, you know, within the end of this year, we're going to know about this new console. Now, we're not going to probably be able to buy it, but at least we're going to have information of it. And I would guess, if that's the case, it probably means, that they're probably going to sell it next year or next fiscal year. Okay? Now, the other thing that I appreciate is that he literally says, even though there's a Nintendo Direct coming up in June, there's no new console information in it. Good. Good for saying that, because too many idiots on the internet just make shit up about it and keep saying, oh, we're going to get all this information about it and we're going to, here's our speculation, here's our hype. It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't work for Nintendo. You don't know anything. You just make shit up for people to click on your garbage content, you know, and it's stupid because people believe it. They actually build up hype and stuff around stuff that's just nonsensical. So anyway, I hope that when they do announce it, it's going to be something better to what gamers would really want. But if we look at Nintendo's track record, the answer is probably no, it will not be. Nintendo is infamous for completely disregarding fan feedback when it comes to designing consoles, right? What do the fans want? We want more powerful hardware on the inside so that we can actually have our games look as good as the competitors, right? Imagine a Mario game or a Zelda game that's running in full 1080p 60 frames with insane amounts of detail, or hell, even 4K, right? My God, it would blow your socks off. Instead, We got some of the worst looking games and worst performing games. I mean, are you kidding me? Tears of the Kingdom was a great game that looked awful. It's just sad that they don't care about being competitive. Instead, they always have to have a gimmick, right? We're going to waggle around with motion controls. We're going to have a stupid screen controller no one ever asked for or wanted. We're going to have a console that's not really a home console. It's a hybrid, portable console, home hybrid, but now it's weak because of that. Like, how about you just make a fucking console that's good? You ever think about that? Like, back in the day with, like, Super Nintendo, like, what was the thing that Nintendo innovated? Better technology in the carts, so it looked better than anything else of their competition, and an innovative controller that allowed better games to be developed, right? Can you tell me one game developed for Switch that's better because it was developed for Switch? Can anyone, literally, can you put your hand up and say, oh yeah, well, this game is Switch exclusive and it's really good because it was on Switch? No. Nintendo has lost their way when it comes to what they're good at. Innovation is great, but gimmicks are not. They need to innovate to make better gameplay experiences, not just say, oh, we don't do what everyone else does, so here's an underpowered console that has a finicky, wonky thing that we can claim is a gimmick that's cool. When you know, in reality, I think what people would rather happen is have better games, right? And I hate to say it, right now, my Switch is gathering dust and has been for quite some time, last few years, right? Maybe we turn that sucker on 2 times, 3 times a year tops, while the other consoles are constantly being used, right? It's sad. Like, there's nothing to play on that dang thing. Yet they say, oh, it's the best-selling console. I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. If it's the best-selling console, if there's no good games to play on it, it doesn't matter. You know? Just because people who aren't mainstream gamers and aren't people who play games all the time casually bought your console in droves just like they did the Wii, doesn't mean that the console has done anything for the games industry. So, yeah, I am sad at Nintendo's track record, and I would hope that with the new console, they will turn things around. Do I have any kind of confidence? No. However, I will say this. We may finally get new titles we've been waiting for. How about an actual new Mario Kart game for the first time in like a decade? That would be nice. How about a new Mario? We didn't have a new Mario since the launch of the Switch in 2017. That's a 3D Mario. And Odyssey was amazing. You know, I would like to have better first-party games at this point than we're really getting. 1 or 2 a year is not enough. And now we're at a point where there's like nothing. Like, what exactly is coming out? Well, we're going to find out in June. That's what he's saying here. This direct in June essentially is going to explain the final life cycle games of the Switch. You know? The Switch wasn't a bad console, in my opinion. But, man, to me, it just didn't feel, like, important or special. For a lot of people, I guess it was. For them, it was their generation's Wii. But for me, it was just like, eh. So, some games were beautiful on it, you know? And that's the sad part. Is like I said, Mario Odyssey ran superbly good on it. So it doesn't explain why games like Breath of the Wild or the recent Pokemon Scarlet and Violet run absolutely horribly on it. It just doesn't even seem to make much sense. I don't know. So I hope whatever they come out with will be a better piece of hardware that people can develop for and actually have games run better. But we know Nintendo, right? At this point, you would be kind of fooling yourself to think that what next console they put out will actually be powerful. Okay? Okay, guys, it's time for the main event of the news today. It is so sad. It is very upsetting. I'm just going to forewarn you all. All right. Oh, wait, no, it's not. There's another story. I'm sorry. There's one more story. This is what I mean. Like, today had so much news. Guess what? Do you remember that story that I talked about a few weeks ago? That the United States government has passed a law, and President Biden signed it into law, stating that TikTok, that's right, the social media app that all the kiddies are into, owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, all right, essentially is going to be outlawed in the United States and blocked as of January of 2025 unless the company is divested. What that means is that our government is legally forcing this company to be sold off to a non-Chinese company, or else they're just going to block it, all right? Now, you might say, I don't get it. Why? Here we go. Here's the actual reasoning. U.S. lawmakers from both parties, both Republican and Democrat, as well as administration and law enforcement officials, have expressed concerns that Chinese authorities could force ByteDance to hand over U.S. user data or sway public opinion by manipulating the algorithm that populates users' feeds. Some have also pointed to a Rutgers University study that maintains TikTok content was being amplified or underrepresented based on how it aligns with the interests of the Chinese government, which the company disputes. So what's going on? The U.S. government is saying, because TikTok is owned by the Chinese, a Chinese company, the Chinese government is not like us. They regularly interfere in the lives of their citizens and regularly interfere in how the companies act and are controlled. And they're afraid that the Chinese government at any moment could go, give us all the data and manipulate the data to make a narrative true on your app. Apparently, that's not allowed in companies outside of China, but apparently in China it's okay, or at least that's what our government is insinuating. Okay? So why am I bringing this up today? Because guess what? TikTok is suing the United States government. It is official. They have filed their lawsuit. Here's what they're saying, okay? This is from a local news station, K5 News article, so I will be reading from it just to give credit where credit is due. The popular social video company alleged that the law which President Joe Biden signed into law as part of a larger $95 billion foreign aid package is so obviously unconstitutional that the sponsors of the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act are trying to portray this law not as a ban, but as a regulation of TikTok's ownership. The law requires TikTok's parent ByteDance to sell the platform within 9 months. If a sale is in progress, then they'll get an additional 3 months to finish it. But ByteDance has said it doesn't have any plans to sell TikTok. Even if it wanted to divest, the company would have to get a blessing from Beijing, hence the Chinese government we were just talking about, which previously opposed a forced sale of the platform and has signaled its opposition this time around. TikTok and ByteDance argued in the lawsuit it really isn't being given a choice. The qualified divestiture demanded by the act to allow TikTok to continue operating in the United States is simply not possible. It's not commercially, not technologically, and not legally, they're saying. Okay? So, that's what's going on. So, if this company is not sold off by, I think they said, like, the end of September, October, something like that, then it will literally be banned in the United States as of January. Okay? And we already talked about this. So, let's get rid of this guy. So, yes, what's going to happen here? I don't know. Sounds to me like they're going to get banned, because I don't think ByteDance is going to sell. We already talked about this, that this company is worldwide. It's not just American. This is a company that in China it's big, in Europe it's big, in other countries outside of the US it's big. TikTok is a worldwide, very popular app. If the United States government says you must sell because we don't trust the Chinese government, you know what they're going to say? Well, fuck off then. You just can't use it. If anything, they might just ban Americans from using it, right? I don't know. To me, here's the thing. To me, it's not big news. To a lot of people, apparently it is. I guess TikTok is huge. It's something that's used by tons of people, and they see it like culture will change if people in America can't use TikTok. I mean, there's entire content creators that make all their content on TikTok, and they're not going to be allowed to anymore. Anyway, one other news story before we get to the big one. Bob Iger, the current CEO of Disney, has announced that Marvel Studios are now going to reduce their output of content. There will only be 2 to 3 Marvel movies released in a year, and only 2 TV shows per year, period. Well, it's about damn time, because let me tell you, when they keep releasing spin-off shows of some character I've never heard of or don't care about, right? It's like, well, it's about goddamn time. You know, maybe we didn't need that 17th Marvel movie of crap that no one cares about, right? They were shoveling shit so hard for like 5 or 6 years there. It's about time. And, you know, maybe that will actually fix it, because right now I do feel like we have insane amounts of oversaturation in Marvel content. And that's a problem, right? Like, that's literally a problem. People just aren't going to the movies to watch Marvel movies that much anymore. It's, you know, it's funny because he says we're going to do 2 to 3 Marvel movies a year. Like, literally, that's the amount of movies that people go to see out of the 10 that we're releasing. 2 to 3 would do well. And then the other 7 would be shitty and fail. And no one would care about them, right? Excuse me. So, yeah. I'm happy for the fact that it sounds like they're wising up. Stop oversaturating, you know? Now, what's next? Star Wars? Because I think Star Wars is also kind of oversaturating with their 100 TV shows that they're releasing. So I guess we'll see. Okay. The big news. Are you ready? I've been trying, if you haven't noticed, I've been trying to delay talking about it because I'm not happy. I'm actually quite upset. Breaking news. Microsoft is closing multiple game developers this morning. Okay? 4, I believe. Yeah, here we go. Here's the 4 that are closing. Arcane Austin. And Arcane Austin is responsible for the recent massive failure Redfall. The Elder Scrolls Online co-developer Roundhouse. So they were a company that was working exclusively on Elder Scrolls Online. They're getting laid off. Alpha Dog, who's made Mighty Doom. If you don't remember, that was the game that was like Doom with like the cutesy characters or whatever. And I think that was, I don't know if it ever hit consoles, but I think it was a mobile game. And now here's the big one, the one that everyone is like, what? Are you ready? Tango Gameworks, the makers of the recent actual smash hit Hi-Fi Rush. What? Huh? They just made a hit game. Remember? It was the game that everyone was talking about last year that no one even knew it existed. And then they dropped it on Game Pass. I think it was February 2023. And people played it and were like, whoa, this game is seriously good. So if this is an idea of what Tango Gameworks can do, this is amazing. The game actually won awards for sound design and all kinds of stuff. And they're laying the studio off. Now, to be fair, Tango Gameworks also made The Evil Within 1 and 2. And Hi-Fi Rush was actually a departure for them from their usual formula of content that they would make. The Evil Within 1 was a smash hit success. Of course, at that point, if you remember, Shinji Mikami was still working for the company. It was his company to begin with, and it was supposed to be his own edition of a Resident Evil game. It did very well, and then it led them to make a sequel. However, what happened with The Evil Within 2, I feel, is probably one of those sad, really infamous mismanagement stories that you hear in the game industry. So, Evil Within 2 dramatically improved upon the original game in every way. The graphics were better, the gameplay elements and controls were better, the game opened up and wasn't just linear like the first game, but instead had many open areas you could explore with optional side quests and content. And overall, the plot was better and had a definitive and fun ending. What happened with it? I'll tell you what happened with it. They completely mismarketed it. Unlike Evil Within 1, where you saw ads everywhere, in the stores, on TV, online, there was almost no marketing whatsoever for Evil Within 2. No one even knew it was coming out, besides those following game release schedules. And so when it came out, everyone was like, huh? I didn't even know that was out. And then I played it. I was blown away at how good it was. And sadly, no one knew about it. Like, people were learning about the game by coming to my streams. And I was like, what? That's stupid. You know, I don't know what happened, why they marketed the hell out of the first Evil Within. It did really well. Then they decided to just not market the second one. And they just thought it was going to do good. That's not how gaming works. You know, that's not how business works or the industry. It doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Then remember, the next game that they made was Ghostwire Tokyo. And if you remember, Ghostwire Tokyo originally actually was supposed to be Evil Within 3, but then got changed into a totally different project about halfway through, redesigned to be a first-person ghost hunting game. And personally, I think visually it's nice, and the story is interesting. It just gets far too repetitive. Once you get about halfway into the game, it loses its steam because there's nothing else the game offers in the new gameplay department. But I mean, anytime, all right, that you hear of studios closing, you're sad. All right. But this is what? The 6th or 7th time in the last 4 months that we have heard of this happening in the games industry. And is it just me, or are we seeing a pattern now? Since Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard, they just keep doing layoffs after layoffs after layoffs after layoffs. Okay? So, by the way, a lot of people have a lot to say about this. First of all, FYI, Redfall is completely done. After the game only being out for about 1 year, all production has been halted. Redfall's previous update is its last. They're ending all development on the game. Its servers will remain online for players to enjoy. However, there was a planned DLC that people already paid for in kind of a seasonal package, and Microsoft is claiming they're going to do a make good offer to make up for the fact that the DLC will never exist. What that will be, I have no idea. But dude, at this point, I just got to say to people out there, let this be a cautionary tale. Do not buy these season passes, because at any moment now, it seems like these game companies can do whatever they want, slash budgets, fire and lay off people, and the next thing you know, you got latched into seasonal content that ain't even going to exist, right? Like, that's ridiculous. They didn't even let them finish the DLC as promised by the original sales of the game. So that's really sad. So people all over the internet are speaking up about this. First of all, the guy who's the overall head of Arcane, not the guy that's head of Arcane Austin, but I forget his name. I forgot because I had it and I cut it off. Oh, here it is. Dinga Bakaba. He's the actual head of Arcane Studios, all right? Went on social media and actually posted up things that people never expected that the head of a studio would post. Here's what he posted word for word. This is absolutely terrible. Permission to be human. To any executive who may be reading this, a friendly reminder that video games are an entertainment and cultural industry, and your business as a corporation is to take care of your artists and entertainers and help them create value for you. Don't throw us into gold fever gambits. Don't use us as straw men for miscalculations and blind spots. Don't make our work environments Darwinist jungles. You say we make you proud when we make a good game. Well, make us proud when these times are tough. We know you can because we've seen it before. That is scathing. He is outright saying that management essentially don't know what the fuck they're doing at Microsoft. They have absolutely no idea how to run the company. Just listen to what he said, right? Don't throw us into gold fever gambits, right? Hey, this game's going to be a gold rush, everyone. Rush, 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 push, 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 get this game out, right? Don't use us as straw men for miscalculation and blind spots, right? If you're the management of a major gaming company and you put your eggs in a basket and it doesn't sell, whose fault was that? You're the one who told those fucking people to make that game, right? I hearken this back, all right, to EA and the Mass Effect developer BioWare making Anthem. Literally, BioWare told EA, we don't want to make this game. We are not good at cooperative online experiences. We're good at single-player narrative-based games. Let us make what we can cook. Let us cook our specialty. To which EA said, no, make this game because it's hot now. They ended up putting out Anthem, and it's the biggest flop they've ever made. And now they haven't put out a game in so many years, it's ridiculous, right? So what essentially Mr. Bakaba is saying is that management at these companies are making these big gambles on these ads and certain genres. Oh, this will print money for us. This will print money for us. This will print money for us. And then when it doesn't, they blame the developers who were ordered to make the game. You're the ones in charge. You're the one steering the ship. This would be the equivalent of a captain of a ship literally with his hands on the fucking steering wheel, driving it into a cliffside, and then blaming his crew. Why did you do that? Captain, you're the one. You have the fucking helm. What the fuck are you talking about, you idiot? You know? And then keep going. Don't make our work environments Darwinist jungles. So essentially, survival of the fittest. You know what that means. We all know what's going on in game development. We know the climate. We know how it works. They are forced to be overworked. They are forced to work insane amounts of hours. They are forced to crunch, crunch, crunch. And essentially what he's saying is those who are able to do it seem to be getting rewarded, applauded, promoted. And those who are just normal fucking people and want to have a normal job are being basically told, well, survival of the fittest, too bad, right? Right? It's pretty fucked up. So, and again, this is a big scathing statement. You say that we make you proud when we make a good game. We'll make us proud when times are tough. We know you can because we've seen it before. So he's saying is, why is it that when we make something good, you say good job, but then you don't actually try to figure out the root cause of what happened or even help us at all when a game goes poorly? Instead, you just lay us off, right? It's kind of fucked up. I agree. Again, do you really think that the people who made Redfall sat there and they said, today we decided we're going to make a bad game because there's just too many good ones out there? I mean, we made the Thief series, or not Thief, we made the Dishonored series, we made Prey, those were good games. We made Deathloop, that's kind of a debatable. Critics really liked it, other people didn't, but at least, it's at least overall positively received. We decided now we're just going to make a turd. We're going to sit down, we're going to put all this time and effort into making a really horrible game, right? I'm sure that's what they did. I mean, that's what all these game developers do, right? They just decide actively to make trash. Of course, right? In fact, what's funny about that is, if you remember when Redfall came out last year, and everyone knew the game was an unfinished, horrible mess, okay? Let's be honest here. What is going on, Jasper? He's standing here staring at me. When the game came out, Phil Spencer himself was interviewed, and he said, Phil, you own Bethesda now. Microsoft owns Bethesda. Bethesda owns Arcane. So how did this game come out like this? Everyone, you could play for 5 minutes, the game's not done. It's not polished. It's not finished. It's full of bugs. What happened here? And Phil Spencer's response was, maybe we should have had a little bit more of a hands-on approach with that one. So let me get this straight. You bought a company. You dictated they put out a certain amount of games, a certain style, and then you literally never checked on any of the projects. You just let them do whatever they wanted with no guidance, no help. You just said, just go ahead and make games, right? Really, like if you're interviewing Phil Spencer, the CEO of Xbox Gaming, and the CEO, the guy in charge, says, oh, maybe we should have actually checked in on that one a little bit more. Is this guy a fucking idiot? Does he not understand that's literally his job? He's in charge. So when Redfall comes out and is a piece of steaming dog shit, it's not finished, it's broken, and everyone in the community is panning it because it's so bad, should it be Arcane that looks bad? No, it should be Phil fucking Spencer that looks bad, because he's the one who's responsible. He's the one in charge. He's the one who's steering the ship. Why did he not know that the game was unfinished? What the fuck does he do all day? Really? What do you do? If you're the CEO of Xbox Gaming, you're not checking on the fucking games your company makes? Then what do you do? I want to know. Anyway. Good Lord. So that's what Dingo Bakaba said. He's the head of Arcane. He's very, very upset with this decision to basically lay off Arcane Austin. Okay? By the way, in a little bit of an extra aside here, Arcane Austin, before making Redfall and failing miserably, had actually worked on the first Dishonored and actually developed the 2017 version of Prey by itself. So Arcane made Prey. Prey was a good game. I'm just going to tell you guys, if you didn't play it, 2017's Prey is a very good game. It's got a really neat, interesting story. It's got fun gameplay elements. It's got a lot of horror elements that are done really, really well. Tons of content, spooky monsters, and a lot of different variations in the story depending on your choices and what secrets and things that you discover. It's a really great game. I'm pretty sad that this is now the end of this studio, honestly. Now, here we go. I gotta say this, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could make this up, but Xbox head of studios, Matt Booty, wrote an internal email to the staff saying the following: "We are making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games." What fucking games? Right now, realistically, can you say, anyone out there who follows the gaming industry, what are the big games that Microsoft is making right now? Can you name a single fucking game? It ain't Halo. That failed. Is it Gears of War? We haven't heard from that in years, and the last one was good, but it's certainly not what it used to be in the original trilogy, right? What are the big games? It ain't Starfield. Starfield is a huge failure and flop, and no one fucking likes it, right? Like, what are they talking about? What fucking games? Elder Scrolls, which we have no idea when it's coming out, and you have no idea of any time frame, we have no information about? What the fuck is he talking about? We're laying off people to focus on our big games. You don't have any big games. You are the head of Xbox Studios, and you have no fucking games. You are an idiot. You are inept at what you do, and you should be fucking fired for writing that email. Really. In fact, I'm going to say this, and you can quote me on this, and you can go ahead and clip this clip, all right? When these things are now happening, it's one thing if there's one round of layoffs. This is what? The third? Okay, since Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, it's at this point becoming very clear that Microsoft was not ready to buy Activision Blizzard. Because if you're buying a giant company, you don't then lay off the equivalent number of employees from your existing company to make room for them. This is insanely bad management, all right? If you're going to make an incredible acquisition like that, you have to be ready for it. If you did that acquisition and you weren't ready for it, and now all these people are losing their jobs, there's only one solution, all right? The people who really should be losing their jobs are the people in management. Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and all the other executives who championed the Activision Blizzard acquisition and now have absolutely no way to make profits with the company besides laying people off. They should be the next on the chopping block. Immediately, they should lose their jobs. And they should have people who actually know what the fuck they're doing move in to right the ship. Because right now, you got Captain Phil Spencer and first in command, Matt Booty, and they literally have one hand on each side of the fucking wheel, driving the ship into the cliffside. And fucking splinters of wood are shooting everywhere, and the boat's capsizing, and everyone's abandoning ship. And everyone's like, oh, well, just keep them in charge. That's fine. In fact, give them another boat. Buy another boat to put them on, right? Well, are you fucking crazy? They don't know what they're doing. It's obvious at this point. The problem is people like Phil Spencer, okay, are sadly charismatic, right? Phil Spencer's a charismatic dude. When you see him and he's wearing not a suit and tie, but he's wearing a cool jacket and a t-shirt. He looks like one of us. He's a gamer bro, right? So you get that mentality that he's your friend, he's your buddy who you game with, and you like the guy. It doesn't matter, though. He's a horrible leader. So's Matt Booty writing this insane fucking email that literally has no factual basis. You have no big games to put your time and efforts into, you fucking moron. So these people should not be in charge. It's that simple. We need new blood to jump up. And we need new blood to take command of these companies. Because right now, the Yves Gamos and that evil fucking CEO of EA with his stupid douchey comb-over hipster Seattle haircut, and the fucking Phil Spencers and Matt Booties, these guys, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're the reason the industry is failing. When Phil Spencer is interviewed, and they say, so why are you doing these rounds of layoffs? He says, because the game industry is currently in a decline. Phil, you are the game industry. You're in charge of fucking Xbox. You're the reason for the decline. So don't punish your employees. Fucking quit. Punish yourself, you fucking mouth drooler. You're awful at what you do. You're ruining gaming because you're inept. Quit. Let someone else step up and fix Xbox. Because it ain't going to be you and it ain't going to be Corporal Booty. It's got to be somebody else. It's obvious at this point you have no fucking clue what you're doing. Stop ruining things for everyone under you who's a hard worker who deserves a living. And you're taking that away from them because you're making big moves, buying companies, but you're not making any fucking games. You're a games company that doesn't make games. I'm a little upset about this topic. I don't know if you guys can tell. Well, one thing's for sure. After today, I don't think anyone's going to call me an Xbot or Xbox fanboy. I'm pretty upset, honestly. And I just don't even know what's going to happen anymore. You know what I'm saying? I just don't even know. How can you even exist? They're literally doing nothing right at all. I don't think that they have done a single correct action in the last, year. And it's continuing. You know, Game Pass is amazing. Is Game Pass the problem? Is the insustainability of Game Pass what's really going on here? If that's the case, just fess up and fucking cancel Game Pass and be like, sorry, we fucked up. We're sorry that you all like Game Pass. It's a great value for gamers, but we fucked up. We can't keep the company afloat anymore. We fucked it up bad, right? If that's the case, that's fine. Admit it, right? But I don't know, man. This drives me insane. I don't know why we have these people in power anymore, you know? I think what it is, if you take a look, we had Don Matrick before Phil Spencer, and Don Matrick was not the gamer bro. Don Matrick was the quintessential silver spoon in the mouth douchebag rich guy, right? Oh, Xbox One. If you don't have an always online connection, we have a console for you, the Xbox 360. Oh, you want to own your games? Too bad. Everything's digital. Everything's tied in. And here's the future. And in reality, a lot of the things that Don Matrick was saying during the launch of the Xbox One wasn't incorrect. He was just a complete douchebag, scumbag asshole about it. And therefore, that's why people hated him. And that's why Xbox One tanked at launch. It's his fault because he's just a piece of shit. Which is why he was promptly ousted out of the company. And then he went and ruined Zynga. And now he basically, I guess, probably runs a gas station somewhere or something. Who knows, right? But in the case of Phil Spencer, this guy is kind of the antithesis of that. When you look at Phil Spencer, you don't think rich guy. You don't think douchebag, silver spoon in the mouth. But at the same time, is he doing any better, honestly? No. What has he really done? Tell me the positive stuff that Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and these people are doing in charge of Xbox that's, really keeping the company afloat. It's just failure after failure. How do you have an incredibly popular game in Halo Infinite and then botch it within 4 months and no one plays it anymore, right? It's like every time they have an opportunity for success, they blow it. I just don't get it, right? So, I don't know, man. This is very upsetting to me. Listen, I like Xbox. I like the gaming industry. It's my job as well as my hobby. And to hear the people who are talented losing their jobs because management doesn't know how to run the company, it makes me very upset. Really. Especially Tango Gameworks, they just made Hi-Fi Rush, which was a great game, and they were on the right track to righting their ship and making better games, Exactly. Don Finucci says, Phil Spencer currently has no signal. He's on his mega yacht in Belize. He can't hear you. There you go. Well, yes, of course. Bader says, well, Hi-Fi Rush was not financially successful by Microsoft standards. Yes, because they didn't advertise it. Remember what they did? They didn't even announce it. They just shadow dropped the game. And that game developers actually voiced their discontent with that model after the game launched. They said, we're happy that people are liking it now, but this game was ready last year, and we don't know why Xbox didn't announce it. They had a perfect opportunity during that Xbox event last year in 2022 to get hype for it and get people excited for it, and they literally just kept the fucking game a complete secret and shadow dropped it in early 2023 to no hoopla, no fanfare, just, oh, it's on Game Pass now, check it out. So why did you think it would sell? You see what I'm saying? Gee, Evil Within 2, we hope is a giant seller. Oops, no marketing. Gee, I wonder why it didn't sell. But these are management decisions. These are not game developer decisions. These are management decisions. These are Phil Spencer and Matt Booty decisions. And they're fucking up at every turn. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. Stop punishing the people who work the hardest to put out content for your company, and instead punish the people who truly are making the awful decisions at the company day in and day out, over and fucking over at this point. Okay? At this point, and you know, by the way, not just them, you got to look at the heads of the other companies too, the fucking Todd Howards, who they all were banking on Starfield being a giant success, and it is totally not. I mean, it's not a huge failure, but it's definitely not anywhere near the level they thought it was going to get. It is not culturally relevant. It is not even in the major discussions of people when it comes to big RPGs. It's just a flop, you know? And these people need to be held accountable for their fucking actions, and they're not. We have enough people now who have lost their jobs, thousands of people losing jobs because of a few small people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Why are they still in charge? If you're a shareholder of Xbox, Microsoft, what are you doing? Are you stupid? Do you not understand that these people are dumb and don't know what they're doing? Get them the fuck out. Shareholders have power. Get these motherfuckers out of there. They don't know how to do anything. If I had stock in fucking Xbox, I sure as hell would be trying to get these fuck faces out of there. Jeez. All right. That's enough of me ranting about it today, guys. I knew this was going to go long because I can't even, I'm so upset I can't even click the right screen. Look at this. Where am I? Hold on. Here I am. I'm so upset I can't even click the right transition. I hate this shit. I hate this industry when this happens. It makes me so upset. These people do not deserve to be jobless. They don't. These people are hard workers. They're trying to make good stuff. And it's the management that's bad. Punish those who are responsible, not the fucking, you know, people on the ground level. This would be like saying McDonald's had a big gambit. They launched a brand new burger. Okay? But the burger was very expensive, the cost, but they were hoping really it was going to be amazing. Well, guess what? No one likes the burger. So they lost millions of dollars on it. So what did they do? They just fired 4,000 employees. Did the employees have the idea to make the burger? Did the employees fuck up the making of the burger at any point? No, no one liked the burger, the concept that it didn't work for McDonald's. Why would you fire people who work at the line level? What did they do wrong? How does that even solve the fucking problem? Oh, because we need to have the shareholders get their money. So fire the management who don't deserve it and take their $10 million salaries and give it to the shareholders. Right? Like, what is going on? How does corporate America not understand that these corporate structures are broken and don't work? And it's not just America. It's all these corporations. This structure doesn't work. You're paying a guy millions of dollars to sink your company. And then you're afraid to fire him. Right? What are you? I mean, that's insanity. How do you think this is an operational thing that's going to sustain? It's not. It's just not going to sustain. And then when Xbox folds, they'll blame the industry instead of the people in charge, right? Phil Spencer will say, oh, we're just in a slump. You're the slump. You're the one who made the slump. Okay. Well, I've ranted and raved enough. It's time for us to get to shout-outs. All right? Let's get into it. Our first contribution of the day was from Jordan. All right? And he did a super chat. And he says, well, I have a genuine question. If you commission an artist and their artwork went downhill below your standards, wouldn't you find a different artist? Jordan, that's not the situation. If I hire an artist, okay, and I'm trusting on their skill level or whatever to make a good piece of art, okay, right? And if they don't perform, I understand what you're saying. That's not what happens in these cases. These are game studios. They're full-time employees. They're not headhunters or hiring a fucking contractor to come do one piece of the game and the piece of the game malfunctions and then the whole game sucks. That's not the case. The case is entire projects are designed, spearheaded, championed, and put into production by management. The games themselves are management's ideas. You understand? Also, how those games are fully developed, how much money goes in, the budgets, the time, the amount of employees, the marketing. Again, there's perfectly good games like Evil Within 2 that were great games that were just mismarketed. Hi-Fi Rush had zero marketing. How is it ever going to sell when you never advertised it and you shadow dropped it, right? This is not the situation you're describing. The situation you're describing is so different because you're basically saying you hire an artist, the artist did a bad job, fire the artist. These people didn't necessarily... Hi-Fi Rush is an outstanding game and they just fired the whole studio. You know? Redfall is a bad game. But literally Phil Spencer admitted publicly they never looked into it. They just let them do whatever they wanted. You're the manager. You own the company. You manage the company. If the company is doing something awful, you have to manage them and tell them that. Not just let them do whatever the fuck they want. It's obvious then they're inept, but then is that the line level person who should be punished for that? No. There's too much of this. In the way that corporate structure works is that it's set up that these people who already are in positions of power and rich fail and get rewarded for it. Because in the reality, do you really think Phil Spencer this year is going to take a giant pay cut because he had to lay off so many employees? Do you think Matt Booty is going to have to take a pay cut because all these studios are closing? I mean, Matt Booty, he couldn't even actually get the name of the studio right. I think it was called Doghead Games, and he called it Doghead Studios in his email. He didn't even know the name of the company that they owned that they were shutting down. So there you go. Let's see here. I received a $4.20 tip. Oh, it's a troll. It's a fucking troll. I could just ignore him. Okay. So the one tip I got today is a troll. That's great. All right, so guys, I'm done ranting now about this story. I'm very upset about it, obviously, but I'm done ranting. Obviously, a little guy like me, I don't have any control over anything. All I can do is voice my opinions. I hope you enjoy my opinions, even if you don't agree with them. I hope you at least enjoy them. And I felt better getting that off my chest because I feel awful with people who are losing their jobs like this. It makes me really upset. And hopefully there will be a light at the end of this tunnel. It'd be great if Xbox could actually make some good games like Matt Booty is apparently alluding to. That's what they're going to do. We're going to refocus our efforts on our big games. You don't have any big games. You have to make big games. You have to make good games to become big. You can't just have big games. That doesn't exist, right? Halo is done. Gears of War is nothing like it used to be. Can you name another Xbox exclusive? I can name Bethesda exclusives that are not really ready to be released or made. So I don't even know what they're talking about at this time, right? I just don't. I don't get it. Thank you, Tizwaz1112, for becoming a member for 28 months. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so guys, that's all I got for now. I shouted out Jordan and Tizwaz, so if anyone else contributes, thank you. I will give you a shout out. We do have a little bit of extra time if anyone wants to talk about stuff. And like I said, I really hope you guys will stick around and hang out with me for Fallout 4. I hope this isn't a pattern of Fallout not doing well just because of the one stream. I hope that Fallout does well today. What's up, Game Boy? How are you today? Welcome. Mr. AG says, look at Starfield, even an exclusive failed, so what do we even have to look forward to on Xbox anymore, right? And this is definitely, this is the first console generation where I can outright tell you it does not matter which console you own. The best games are cross-platform. The exclusives are just not a big deal. They're just not. They're literally not a big deal. These exclusives have just been lackluster games or meh games, right? There's been nothing truly exclusive that you needed to own one particular console for. You know, PlayStation 5 does a few things well. Xbox does a few things well, but neither shine above the other in this regard. So there's literally no console war anymore at all. I mean, there's just no reason to even fight about it. And that's sad. It used to be 100%, oh, you need the PlayStation for this great franchise. You need the Xbox because they got the hot new game here. There's no hot new games anymore. They don't exist. We already talked about the Switch, Alan. You must be late. Okay, so what do you guys want to talk about? We have a little bit of extra time. I don't like ending the podcast with no Q&A. I like having a Q&A segment to see whatever your topics are you want to talk about, because as you know, once we get into the game, I like to focus on the game. So do you guys have any particular topics or things you like to discuss? That is true. Soup Fork says there's a showcase coming in June. Maybe they'll have good stuff there. I mean, you're in June. That's, I feel, when we're gonna get so much information. You're gonna have the Xbox showcase, the Summer Game Fest, and now, yes, the rumor now is that Sony's doing one, and we already know Nintendo's doing one. So basically, because they're doing no more E3, it's done. That first 2 weeks of June is when they're releasing all of the information, right, of all games for the rest of the year. Because right now, I went through the game schedule. There's literally nothing big this year. So I get the feeling we're going to get the big drops and the big dates will all be coming out in June. It's going to be a crazy couple of weeks in early June, probably. So hopefully, yes. No, I do not use an iPad. I haven't used an iPad in a greater part of a decade. I owned an iPad. I think I bought it in 2011 or 2012. And I actively used the iPad for maybe 2 to 3 years. Like, I think the first 1 to 2 years I lived here, I was using an iPad. And then I just, it kind of got outdated. And the new phones were better than the iPad I had. And then my iPad broke. Like, I stopped using it for a while. And then I tried to charge it and plug it in one day. And it just wouldn't even turn on anymore. And I was like, oh, it might be that there's no updates or the battery died. I have no idea. I don't know. So I just gave up on the fucking thing. I don't use it. Black Rose X Dragon is saying they own stock in Microsoft, and in the past 4 years, the value has almost doubled. Well, that's Microsoft. That's different. Microsoft and Xbox are different. You have to understand it. Microsoft is the entire company. This is a ginormous company. They own a bajillion products, not only software, but there's AI involved. Now there's all that shit. If you own Microsoft stock, overall, Xbox is a drop in the bucket of what Microsoft is. Okay? So just because we're talking about, gaming's on the downswing, that doesn't necessarily mean that Microsoft stock is going to tank because of it. You know what I'm saying? Well, am I going to do main or side quests in Fallout 4? We're doing the quest to the northeast of the map in that region, and there's a ton there. But I don't think those are main story quests. We've done a lot of main story quests, right? We did we started the Minuteman, we started the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood is now unlocked if we want to continue that. We did the Piper quest, we did the Nick Valentine rescue quest. We even started doing the initial stuff to go to Good Neighbor. And I was like, we should not do all these story quests. Let's go do this stuff in the Northeast. And that's what we're going to focus on today. The Indie Marathon is May 25th. No, I did not see a comment on the America Rising 2 Legacy of Enclave mod. I don't know what you're talking about. And I have no desire to do mods now in Fallout 4 when we're just kind of focusing on the main game and already we're having issues. So let's not worry about mods now. Is it possible to do Chilling with Phil once a month, says the villain? I already said that's kind of what we've been doing. Last month was the exception. There were 2 because I think one night we were going to do co-op and it didn't happen. Another night something else happened. So there were 2 nights where we did that because of extenuating circumstances, if I remember correctly. But usually we're doing about once a month and it seems to be working. So yeah, I'd be okay with that. And yeah, again, tomorrow night is up in the air. We could just do a Chill with Phil stream tomorrow night. Or we could do Helldivers, or we could do something else, All right. It doesn't seem like people have much to talk about. Billy J says, what would you like from Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, ideally for the remainder of the year? Any surprise games? I'd have to think about it. I really off the top of my head, I can't start throwing out crazy stuff and IPs. I'd like to see what they have to offer during June, and I can comment on it then. But I don't really, at this point, this year has literally not had a single high priority or profile game. The games that we thought would take off did not, or were lackluster, or both, right? So we've got a situation where we have a year where nothing in my mind is a game of the year contender at this point. Seriously, like not a single game that I've played or even heard about is something that I would be like, wow, amazing game of the year. It's just like kind of meh, you know. Black Rose X Dragon, thank you for super chat. Says looking forward to a Zangief climb to master tonight. I appreciate that. I will do my best. It's going to be frustrating, a frustrating climb for sure. Crap, I can't type. It's going to be a frustrating climb for sure, but I appreciate the kind words and the support. Yes, last year did have quite a few amazing games. I agree. By this time last year, we had a good 3 to 4 games that you could think of as, oh, maybe game of the year. Oh, man. Crap. Whew. The weather here is so weird. It was sunny, then it was cloudy. Now it's sunny again, all within like an hour of me doing the podcast. All right. Well, guys, I think we'll get ready to adjourn. I'll just say this. Thank you for watching. Appreciate that. I really hope that many of you will stick around, hang out, and support the Fallout 4 stream. All right? Last time around, actually, I was shocked because up to now, the Fallout 4 has been doing really good. And the fact that last time, it really did not was surprising because, again, same game, same person playing. What happened to change? I don't know. Also, let's be honest. We're about to jump into it, and we have no tips. Already it's kind of like, I don't know what's going on. I hope that it'll stick. If it doesn't after today, if it doesn't do well, then I guess we're going to have to figure out, does it end up becoming a night stream? Do we cancel it? I mean, I don't want to cancel it. I don't know what's going on. It seems like it really was a bandwagon mentality for Fallout for a couple of weeks there. And now maybe people, I don't know. But let's give it a shot, an honest shot, and see what happens today. Okay? Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thanks for chilling. Sorry about the bad news. Seriously. Like, this gaming news is a bummer to me. And it baffles me that nothing seems to be being done about righting this ship, but instead, we just keep making bad decision after bad decision, correct? So, hopefully, you guys will stick around for further updates on it as well, and hopefully, we will get some good news out of the games industry at some point soon. At this point, I'm just tired of the nonstop bad news trains that we're hearing. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. Tomorrow will be interesting. I'll be able to tell you about the results of how everything went today. And go from there. So, all right. Thank you guys. And I shall see you tomorrow.